Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse. Post-game Kentucky, Tennessee. Yes, sir. A big win. I'm not going to lie to you. I was scared of this game because Martin Robert, big win. Absolutely. Yeah, I was scared, though, because after the way we played last game, I thought Tennessee was going to beat us. I'm not going to lie about it. I felt like with us having a short bench, I felt like it could even get ugly for us. Now, I was happy that we was playing at home. I feel like if we had been playing on the road, we might have not been able to get this victory at this time. But that first half is what done it. They came out. They jumped on Tennessee, and they needed every bit of that first half effort because obviously we saw how they started the second half. They started off like garbage. I think they turned the ball over like 3 or 4 times in a row. I think they Tennessee start off with a 10-0 run or something like that. So yeah, it was definitely, what up, Lance? It was definitely looking a little funny. Slim Reaper, a good game. It was looking a little ugly to start it off. But I was glad to see guys hit free throws at the end of the game. A couple guys starting to step up. I'm liking what I'm seeing with Chris Livingston. He's finally starting to really feel his way into the game. I think he kind of didn't really know what his role was. He didn't know how to play the game and feel his role. I think he's starting to figure it out finally. He's been playing a lot better. He's been more active. He's been more aggressive on both sides of the ball. He's been rebounding better. Slim Reap, yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Livingston right now. I wish he would have been playing like this like a month ago maybe. We might not have been in the situation that we in right now. But honestly, I don't know. I feel like we should be off of this whole bubble watch right now. What do y'all think about it? Because, I mean, they're giving us a little bit of credit for the Mississippi State win. And we got 2 wins against Tennessee. I feel like we shouldn't be on the bubble watch right now. Martin Roberts said, don't tell him Oscar is great anymore. It's almost unwatchable. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. Oscar just and you know what I think it is? I think that we just got a team this year that we just better when we don't go through Oscar. Like when Oscar gets his, like I like when Cason Wallace is doing the pick and roll and you know, he drop off some little buckets for Oscar. That's what I like to see. Kentucky beyond the game. UK actually looked good, like a complete team today. Nah, they did. Now, like I was saying earlier, they started off garbage in the second half. They looked like a terrible team the first few minutes of the second half, but then they calmed down a little bit. Tennessee made a little bit of a run, got it to within 8. But the thing that I liked about that was they didn't let them get any closer than that. And that's kind of what you like to see, cut off a team's run, because teams are going to get hot. Teams are going to have some streaks. And it's your job to make sure that you get buckets to stop the runs from going crazy. Like outside of that first couple minutes, you know, they pretty much played solid. A&M is also a quad 1 win now. That's what's up. Sweat, I believe this will put UK in the field. I do too. Yeah, I feel like it'll be hard to keep them out now. If we can just win, you know, I think we got Florida and Vandy and then Arkansas. If we can just get Florida and Vandy, I think that'll help us a whole lot. Even if we lose to Arkansas, I think we'll be in a good position, honestly. Robert said, Chris is a beast, been saying it for 3 or 4 games now. Yeah, he just, like I said, his effort is just a whole lot better now. I think he probably was just confused about, what he was supposed to be doing out there. And, it's probably difficult when I think they said he was player of the year in Ohio for like 2 years in a row or something like that. So it's probably difficult for guys like that have been used to being the star on a team, asked to carry the team. And then you come to Kentucky and you got these other players that's as good as you, some of them even better, and you get like asked to play a lesser role, and it's probably so foreign to you to play the game without everything going through you, without the coach trying to force the ball to your hands and just trying to feel your way into the game. And I think it was just a struggle for Chris, but I think he's kind of understanding how to be effective, how to get some numbers now, which is going to make him more valuable when he's when he's in his draft workouts and stuff like that. Martin Robert called him Baby LeBron. Yes, sir. Good win, Connor. We definitely needed that. Yeah, it's still kind of wild when I'm thinking about Damian and where Cal still kind of doesn't quite know, from game to game what he wants to do coming off the bench. But I feel like that group of starters that he got right now, they kind of actually starting to gel a little bit together. They starting to play pretty well together. So, that's looking like a good little core. Reeves kind of be driving me insane a little bit because Reeves is good for 1 or 2 bonehead plays a game, man. Like, he gonna make a couple of weird turnovers or, some fouls and just leave you scratching your head. But overall, I think Reeves is playing good too. Yeah, I think we got Florida coming up next, and then Vandy, and then Arkansas, if I believe correct. Let me check out some of these numbers. Cason Wallace finally bounced back. We had we have been keeping a close eye on Cason, and Cason had just been looking out of sync, man. I don't know if Cason was just so tired from having to play so many minutes because of Severe not being there, or if his back was acting up on him or whatever the case may be. But he looked like normal Cason Wallace today. He was I know he's tired, man. He played 40 minutes. I know he's worn out. But he was 6 for 14. He didn't hit no threes, but he still was aggressive. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Like that's, I can live with that. Of course I would like to see him hit some of his threes, but if he's doing that, I'm good with it. I ain't gonna never be mad at that. Toppin kind of been doing the same thing the last couple of games. He just quietly chips in, 10 to 12 points here and there. I know he had that one dunk that was kind of nasty, but, he really just kind of just a little bit at a time, just a little bucket here, a little bucket there. And he ended up in double digits, but we need it. And then, like we've been talking about, Chris Livingston, 4 or 5 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 10 rebounds. I was happy to see 10 rebounds from Chris. And then, obviously we got 12 points. And the thing that I like about Chris is a good free throw shooter. I think they said he's shooting like 85% from the free throw line. So I love to see guys that can make free throws, because I know if we're going to be successful in March, we're going to have to be able to make free throws. We're going to have guys on the line that can knock them down, extend the lead, different things like that. Town said, do I think that CJ and Wheeler just get in the way? I don't think they get in the way. If they play well, they really, really helpful to us. But I feel like if Frederick is not shooting the ball well, sometimes he plays too many minutes and he's not shooting the ball well. And, that's really all he's going to really give you. I know he had the one game where he had like 6 assists. He was kind of making some plays and stuff like that, even though he wasn't really scoring. But if he's not really hitting the three, he kind of not really giving us too much. Connor, I appreciate it. Appreciate the like and the sub. Welcome to the family. You know, I definitely think I definitely like having them available though. And Severe, when Severe calms down and he runs the offense correctly, he's not really a bad point guard. He just can't really shoot that well, but he's kind of a nice change of pace for us sometimes. Sometimes he does overdo it. Sometimes he runs a little too fast. He outruns the rest of the team. But he is capable of getting around most people. And if he can just make smart plays and drop the ball off to the big men where they can get some baskets without really having to work too hard to dribble the ball and stuff like that, he can be super valuable. And we definitely going to need him because we can't just keep asking Kaysen to play 40 minutes, man. He going to be like on his last leg before we even get into the tournament. So I definitely think we need them. We just need them to play smart and play well. Yeah, Joseph, I think Wheels play like he play like he got ADHD sometimes, man. Like he just gone. He get the rebound, he gone. The rest of the team is still at the other side of the court, and he's underneath the basket with 3 defenders with nothing to do sometimes. But he's capable of making some excellent plays, and if he's hitting the jump shot, then we definitely be good to go with him. But overall, I still think we're gonna need him. We just gotta get him playing smart. But I really like the lineup that we using right now. The only thing that kind of just annoys me is that I just wish Oscar could block some shots, man, because it's not even so much the scoring, but the thing that kind of drives me insane is like there's a couple of times and don't get it twisted, it's hard to get around Cason Wallace. Like, he's an excellent on-ball defender, one of the best that I've seen in a minute. But the couple of times that, like, somebody was able to get around him, they got all the way to the basket with no resistance, because it's just like we don't got nobody waiting at the basket to reinforce anybody when they get beat. And I know, it's up to the perimeter players to keep their man from going around them. But it just happens sometimes. You get caught off balance. They might do some back doors on you, run some pick and roll. And, at some point, you're going to get beat off the dribble. But a lot of times we just don't have nobody to back it up. And I just wish Oscar was just a little bit better at defending the rim. I think if he was, I think we would have a better chance of making a run. Robert said Oscar been getting cuffed a lot too. Yeah. Yep. Slim said the lineup got great length and it helps on defense. I like you know what I'm saying? I think his lineup is starting to learn how to play with each other. They getting a feel for each other's games. They know where the other person likes the ball. I think this one is definitely the one to go with. I know Cal likes to start Frederick and Bray Reeves off the bench, but right now I feel like Reeves just deserves to start. He's just playing better. I know he was a little he didn't really do a whole lot tonight. He only had 8 points, but he was 3 for 8. It's not bad. We done seen him go for like some big numbers over the last couple of weeks. But I like Reeves in that starting lineup. Andrew said, I feel like Collins needs to play a little bit more. Yeah, me too. Like, I think Collins was starting to work his way into a nice little groove. He was starting to get a nice little feel. So I definitely I definitely would like to see Collins out there a little bit more, but it's just kind of hard sometimes because like Tennessee has a decent amount of big physical dudes, so I think that's one of the things that hurts Collins, and it makes Cal feel like he got to play Sheway more and even come off the bench with Ware, because Collins is just so skinny. Like Collins is literally probably the skinniest dude on the court every time he goes out there. So I think Cal would like to use him more, but I just think he feels like when you play certain teams like Tennessee, that just rough, physical type of dudes, like I don't think he feels like he can match up good. And he'll go with somebody that's a little bit shorter, even if they just bigger. Andrew said it's kind of nice to not have to see CJ go 0 for 11 from 3. Yeah. CJ, what can I say, man? I think CJ was the dude that like revitalized the team. Back when we, who was that beat us, South Carolina, right before we beat Tennessee? So I give CJ a little bit of credit because I feel like he was like the emotional leader that kind of brought everybody together. So I give him a little bit of a pass, even though he ain't really played good. I really appreciate that. I feel like he like brought the team together as a family. So, I definitely, even though CJ ain't shooting the ball good, I appreciate his contribution to the squad. Lady bass player said, why is Onyenso not playing? I think it's probably the same thing when it comes to Collins. I think he's just so skinny that I think Cal's just afraid he's going to get bodied, because Onyenso can defend the rim. That's one thing that we've already seen enough of him to know that he definitely can block some shots. I think once he gets strong, I think he'll be sort of kind of like Cauley Stein was a little bit. I don't think he's as athletic as Stein, but I think as far as, like, I don't think he'll block shots like Anthony Davis or Nerlens Noel, but I think he'll be in that Stein range where he might get us like three a game maybe. I can see him doing that. And we need that right now, actually, but I just think he's so skinny, so young, like Joseph said. Yeah, Joseph said he probably ain't ready mentally. That's probably what it is. Because, we got to remember, too, that technically he's supposed to be in high school right now. So he might not quite be ready for all of this type of action. But hopefully next year, we'll have him coming back, more experience. We have Bradshaw. So we'll have some height. We have some dudes that should be able to block some shot. We should hopefully we'll have some rim protection next year, because that we desperately needed it this year. Speaking of that though, to go left and get away from the game for a second, did y'all happen to see that whole little situation with DJ Wagner and Bradshaw's team up in Camden? Apparently they hold on. Martin Roberts said Cal got to stop the two center trash. Now, I kind of agree with you. Cal loves two big men. He loves that traditional 3 perimeter, 2 big men lineup. I just don't think he's going to go away from it, but I definitely think he needs to start utilizing one big and some more versatile players. But who knows? He probably won't do it. But yeah, like to go back to the what I was talking about with DJ and Bradshaw. Apparently their team got into a brawl. I think it was the in-county rivalry or the in-district rivalry. It was Camden and Eastside, and they got into like a brawl, and both of the teams got kicked out of the state tournament. I haven't really got to see exactly what happened. I haven't seen the whole entire video. I just seen the one clip where DJ was trying to get at somebody, and it was just a whole lot of chaos. People was running around. People was coming out of the stands. People was just fighting. Referees was running around. it just looks super crazy. But at least we know one thing for sure. DJ's not soft, so he gonna bring that toughness to us next year. So, I'm gonna try to figure out exactly what happened with that situation, and I might do a video reporting on that. So we'll see. Nah, Joseph, Bronny doesn't play with them. I'm talking about DJ and them's high school team. I think he played with them a little bit, probably in some AAU stuff before, but this was his high school squad. Lady bass player said it was good to see the 96, 97, 98 teams back in rough. Yeah, it was actually nice to see them. And it was some other players too. Like I think I seen Emmanuel Quickly was there, so it was a lot of dudes that was in the house. That era of Kentucky basketball was set to become like a dynasty era for Pitino if he didn't leave Kentucky. He had the 96 squad that was probably one of the best squads that ever played. 97 probably would have won the championship if it wasn't for Derek Anderson's injury. Now, it is what it is, so we lost, but we probably would have won if we'd have been fully healthy. And then, if Pitino would have stayed, he could have kept building on that. He passed it to Tubby. Tubby got the championship. So that little era of Kentucky basketball was crazy right there. Like we was really the squad for that like little moment of time, better than everybody. Go Kentucky Wildcats said Livingston with the double. Yeah, we've been giving Livingston praise. It was great to see him get a double. Cause I know he was working his butt off. Crazy, interesting. Yeah. I know Tubby was the 98 one. Yeah. But I'm just saying that little moment in time. If Pitino would have stayed and he would have coached in 98, he was building like a crazy dynasty. Joseph said Quickly was insane. And it was disappointing not to see him play in the NCAA tournament. And he really loved that 2020 squad. Yeah, I was super disappointed too because I feel like they was peaking at the right time. And I feel like they was one of those dangerous squads that could have just came out of nowhere and won the whole thing. And then COVID happened. But Quickly went to another level. When I watched Quickly in high school, I was like, he's okay. But I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't really think he was like that. And then when I seen him his freshman year, I was like, he good, but I don't know if he's NBA level good. And then when he came back his sophomore year, he went to another level. He went crazy in the SEC. So, yeah, it was disappointing to see, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely disappointing to see that they didn't get an opportunity because I think they could have made some noise. Todd Unthink said those UK teams knew how to take a punch and fight back. And it felt like they were just going to outlast you if nothing else. Absolutely. I think, like I said, the 96 squad is probably one of the best basketball teams that ever was assembled in college. It's definitely, as far as basketball teams that I've seen play, since I've been watching basketball, and I'm trying to think when I started actually watching basketball. It might have been like 92, 91, 92 when I started watching basketball. They definitely in my top 5 for sure. Offensively, defensively, like they were just crazy. Go Kentucky Wildcats said Maxey in the tournament would have been a highlight reel. Yeah, like I loved Maxey. Crazy, interesting. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Martin Roberts said maybe can we get the 5th or 4th seed with a nice run in the tourney. I think if we was to win the SEC tournament, I think we could get a good seed, but I just don't know if we can win it. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you. It'll be tough because I just think it's, if we have to go through Tennessee again, you know how it goes when you play a team 3 times. You probably gonna lose. You're probably not gonna beat them all 3 times. But at some combination, we probably have to play Tennessee, Arkansas, or Alabama, if not maybe all 3 of them to win the SEC tournament, which would be extremely difficult. Or we'd probably at least play 2 of them, and it'll be tough. But if we was to beat all 3 of them, we definitely have to get a good seed in the NCAA tournament. But I just don't think we could do it, though, to be honest. I think we got to figure out a way to get in the tournament and get put in like a sneaky favorable bracket and have some things fall into place for us. Have like a couple of upsets work out for us, you know what I'm saying? And then we might could try and make some noise. Big Ed the Boss. I like Tubby, but let's not ignore the fact that the team he won the championship was put together by Pitino and not Tubby. Now, I give Pitino the credit for starting that whole little era of basketball. But I give Tubby credit for winning the championship with the 98 team. At the end of the day, you still got to give credit to the coach, because he could have came in and messed it all up, right? And I do think probably the 96 and 97 team had better players overall than the 98 team. So I do think Tubby had the probably least talented of that era, but he still made it work. He still won. The thing that I loved about Tubby is I think Tubby is an excellent half-court defensive coach. Tubby's offense was never really like high-powered. He never really like had offensive teams that scored a bunch of points. Like Tubby always was in that like 60 to 70 range. But he had some strong half-court defensive teams. A lot of the times he was holding teams below 60 points a game. So I think that was one of Tubby's strengths as a coach, is half-court defense. I think he was outstanding at that. Pitino's was full-court defense, as we know, because his press was crazy with that 96 team. They had Antoine Walker, who was one of my favorite Kentucky players of all time. I think Antoine Walker is probably one of the most talented players that ever play at Kentucky as far as overall ability with size and athleticism. I think Walker was really that dude for real. Go Kentucky Wildcats said Livingston reminds him of Alex Poitras from a physical side. I think Poitras was a little bit more athletic than Livingston, because Poitras would go up and dunk on pretty much anybody in college. I think Livingston could be dominant athletically. But the one thing that I think was hurting him in the beginning of the season, like I was saying, he would take like a couple dribbles and then he would go up too far away from the basket. But over the last couple of games, he's been taking an extra dribble or two and just popping straight up. And when he jumps straight up, he's dominant in the air. You're going to pretty much have to foul him or he's going to dunk on you. So I definitely, Slim Reaper said Antoine with that shoulder shuffle. Yeah, he used to kill the shoulder shuffle. Big Ed the Boss said he agreed 100. Tubby was a good coach, pushed him fundamentals, and you got to be good at the basics. Absolutely. And he said Mashburn and Antoine Walker was his 2 faves. Yeah, I think Mashburn is one of the best players that ever played in the SEC. Definitely. Town said, remember the Duke game when Alex just went off on everyone? Yeah, for sure. Glenn Woodford said Livingston is being molded into a grown man. Yep. I think we starting to see he's finally figuring it out. And like I was saying earlier, I wish that he would have figured it out like a month ago, maybe, because I think if we would have had him playing like he's playing now, I think there are some games in there that we probably wouldn't have lost. And we might be in a better position to get in the tournament right now. Martin Roberts said Chris is way better than Alex. Chris is a pro. I think eventually he will be better than Alex, but I think Poitras, I think athletically Poitras was superior to Livingston, but I think Livingston will eventually reach his peak, and his peak will be higher than Poitras. Poitras was one of them ones that I feel like he didn't go for it hard enough his freshman year, and then when he came back, he got shuffled back behind some people like Randall and different things like that. And I think he kind of settled too much into like a role player position, and I think it stunted some of his growth. But so I definitely think Chris got a bigger ceiling than Poitras. Kentucky Wildcats said, can't forget Tony Delk. Tony Delk's a legend. Tony Delk's a Kentucky legend, man. That's all we got to say about that. Tony Delk is a legend. Most definitely. Tony Delk is one of the best players that I ever seen wear a Kentucky uniform, without a doubt. Town said, if Chris would have played more in the Kansas game, we would have won it. That one was weird to me, because was that the game where Chris was balling out in the first half, and then Cal said something weird like they was backing up off of him on the 3-point line, so he didn't play him in the second half or something like that? That was wild to me, because I was waiting for him the whole second half, and then he just didn't play him anymore, and I was just super confused. Andrew said Poitras couldn't dribble the rock. Nah, that was one of his main weaknesses, I thought. I think if Poitras would have been able to handle the ball, I think Poitras would have been able to make the NBA. But like Robert said, he was a special athlete. I think his jump shot was okay. It wasn't great, but it was all right. He kind of had that tweener size too. Like, he wasn't quite a true power forward, but he really wasn't. He didn't have the skill set to be a small forward. So that's where I think his ball handling hurt him. If he could have handled the ball good, I think he would have had a shot. Go Kentucky said he couldn't shoot either. I think he was an okay shooter. He wasn't great. I think he was capable of hitting the jump shot here and there, but nah, he definitely wasn't a knockdown shooter at all. No, nowhere close to that. I think he was an all right shooter. He was average, I'll say that. Maybe a little bit below average. Crazy Interesting said his favorite is Ravi Moss, the walk-on that earned a scholarship. Yeah, man, you always gotta always respect and appreciate a guy that can come on as a walk-on and work hard enough to actually get some minutes in the game and actually be a meaningful contributor to the team. You gotta just respect it all the way around. Town said Alex was one of his favorite players in the Cal era. I liked Alex because Alex was just like, when Alex went to the air, he pretty much could dunk on anybody in college. That's why I liked him. Big Ed the Boss said he think that injury is what could have held Poitras back. Yeah, I hate to say it because I feel like we still had enough to win the championship, but I think if we would have had Poitras, I think we would have won 2015. I don't like to make that excuse because, when you got all of them other players that ended up playing in the NBA, how many guys played in the NBA on that team? Probably 8 or 9. So maybe even 10. I can't remember. But we had enough to win. But I believe we could have and would have won if Alex would have played. Martin Roberts said, I think Chris is a first round pick right now and he's not returning. Yeah, I don't think Chris is coming back either. I think he'll get picked in the first round, but I do think it'll be low though. But I definitely think he's gone. Andrew said, "Remember NIT Archie?" Man, listen, Archie gets a lot of hate at Kentucky. I didn't necessarily hate Archie. I just thought Archie, it's kind of hard to really, for me to explain how I feel about Archie, because Archie kind of was one of them ones where he would make some plays and you would just be like, whoa. Like he would go to the hole and dunk on some people, and it'll make you see why they took a chance on him in the NBA. And I mean, honestly, he had some all right games in the NBA. I think he scored 30 a couple of times. I just think he just ended up not being able to shoot good enough to play like on the perimeter in the NBA. And you know how they are now with the shooting. If you can't shoot in the NBA now, it's just hard for you, because there's just so many guys that can shoot. They're going to always go and find somebody else. But I liked Archie, though. I think if he would have been able to shoot, he could have had a nice little off the bench role playing type of career in the NBA. So, you know, sometimes it just don't work out for people. But he had a chance, though. You know, he technically, Kentucky Wildcats say he should have stayed the second year. Yeah, he's one of those ones. It's a few of them that left Kentucky after their first year that probably should have stayed. And he's one that I would put on that list. I would probably put Marcus Teague on that list. You know what I'm saying? It's a few of them. Not a whole lot of them. Most of them went up there and, you know, they had decent opportunity, decent success. But, you know, it's a few of them that I think could have made the NBA and had a successful career if they would have just been a little bit more patient about getting drafted. Robert said Archie should have been like Shea. He kind of was in his own little way, but Shea just, I don't know. They missed their mark on Shea too, because Shea was only like a 4-star in high school. And obviously he should have been a 5-star. But I think that was one of the reasons why we was able to sneak in there and get him, because, oh yeah, Town said Khalil Whitley. He's one of them ones too. Like he just jumped a little bit too early. Should have went on and came on back, played some more college. Then he probably would have had a better opportunity. And Ryan Harrow. Yeah, I don't know what it was about Ryan Harrow. I think Ryan Harrow just developed too late. If you go back and look at Ryan Harrow's high school clips, Ryan Harrow was extremely talented. He was extremely athletic. He just developed too late. He wasn't quite mentally ready. If he would have played at Kentucky his like junior, senior year, he probably would have been better instead of coming this sophomore year. I think it was too much pressure for him at that time. I think by the time he graduated, what was it, from like Georgia State or somewhere like that? I think he was okay. Julius Mays. That's crazy. Derek Miller. Absolutely. He did. Yeah. He was definitely underrated. Julius Mays, he did the best he could for what he had. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't the tallest guy. He wasn't the most athletic, but he had toughness though. You know, and he was an all right little shooter. So he definitely did, you know, he did the best he could at Kentucky. I respect Mays. I like Mays. I like guys that just got heart. You know what I'm saying? Shaedon Sharpe. Oh man, Shaedon Sharpe. That whole situation is crazy, man. Shaedon Sharpe, he left a bad taste in everybody's mouth at Kentucky. He left a whole lot of what ifs. You know, he got everybody thinking, man, we could have maybe won the championship last year. We probably could have won it this year. So yeah, shouts out to Shaden, man. I get it. You had to do what was best for you, but it definitely hurt our program. We probably could have had the one guard from Arkansas, Nick Smith. You know what I'm saying? So Shaden definitely kind of he stung us a little bit. I ain't bitter though. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Just hopefully we can avoid situations like that in the future. Yeah, it was definitely one of the most craziest situations in the Cal era. I was just kind of confused about it the whole time. I just kept hearing so much different stuff. Then I hear all of these different things about when somebody graduated high school and, transcripts being found on certain people's desk and different stuff like that. It was just wild. And, maybe Cal thought he was scared that, they was going to get, he was going to get ruled ineligible or something, and Kentucky was going to get in trouble for it. And I guess he just, he probably just decided not to mess with it, which probably was better for us in the long run. Big Ed, the boss, said one of the toughest and most determined players ever, Chuck Hayes. Chuck is a Kentucky legend too. I put Chuck at legend status. Him, Tayshaun, you know what I'm saying? Legend status. I'll give him that. Azubuike. I loved Azubuike, man. Azubuike was crazy. Azubuike, I think he averaged like 39 points for his high school career. So I knew he was going to be like a bucket getter at Kentucky. And plus he was just, he was like a man child. I hate to say a man child, but like when he came straight to Kentucky, he was already like fully developed like an NBA player. So yeah. And I think if he didn't get hurt in the NBA, I think he would have had a long, decent, backup career in the NBA. I don't know what's going on with Sahvir. I just know he's still injured, but I don't know, how long they thinking he's gonna be out for or whenever he might return. I'm just taking it day to day like everybody else. I have no clue, to be honest with you. So we'll see. I definitely think we need him though. We need him soon because we can't keep playing Case in 40 minutes. He gonna be wore out. He gonna be tired. He gonna be broke down right when we need him most in the NCAA tournament. So yeah, we definitely we gotta get everybody back and get everybody healthy. But oh yeah, I love Keith Bogans too. Keith Bogans, he definitely see, Keith Bogans was on the squad where they swept the SEC, and I didn't get to see none of that because I was in basic training when that was happening. So for the most part, I had no clue what was going on with Kentucky basketball. And then finally, like when we got to a certain level when I could like call home and get letters and stuff, people was like, man, Kentucky going crazy right now. They sweeping the SEC. Like I think my dad and one of my best friends was telling me like Kentucky's going nuts, man. And I didn't get to see it. So that was kind of disappointing. Yeah, Fitch, Hawkins. Yeah, they all could get busy, man. Cliff Hawkins definitely got one of the most famous crossovers in Kentucky history. Y'all know the one I'm talking about. I think maybe I might have got to see one game of them, and I think it might have been if they played Michigan State in that season, I believe. I think I got to see that. And it might have been where they wore the gray jerseys or something like that, if I remember correctly. That's about it. But anyways, guys, I ain't going to keep y'all much longer. We already done been on here for 45 minutes. But before I let y'all go, yeah, once again, big win for us. I got to say, I definitely think we put the bubble stuff to rest. So, all we got to do is keep our foot on the gas, get these next 2 wins, and then play a good show against Arkansas. Hopefully, we could pull that one out too. But I think we did a lot with this win to help our case, and hopefully we did it. But anyways, man, y'all have a good rest of y'all's weekend, and I'll see y'all back on the next one, Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.